ride, a voyage, a journey to the centre of the word order. Where better to start this journey than the least reliable research source known to the common student, Wikipedia. So a quick trusty search tells us that it's a noun. It's the arrangement or disposition of people or things in relation to each other according to a particular sequence, pattern or method. An example of this is how we might stack our books on a bookshelf. Here's one I prepared earlier. We might stack them by genre, author, or alphabetically. Just a classic sequence, a classic example of order, orderly. Okay, now there's some sort of skull/bottle situation going on. I can explain. See, order doesn't necessarily have to be this sequence of things, people, and whatnot. Wikipedia. Cabinets of Curiosity, or Wunderkammer for all the Germans out there, are small collections of extraordinary objects attempted to categorise and tell stories. I believe they are the foundations of the museums and galleries we know and love today. And although they aren't in any specific sequence, they are objects in a space, so there is some method there, and I'm going to consider it order. So while we're on the topic, I like to think of our very own brain as a cabinet of curiosity of its own. It's a collection of information, everything you've ever known, learnt, taught, seen, heard. It's in there. Well, hopefully. It's the control centre for these temples that we live in. Some might call them our bodies. And with these brains, we learn our own definitions of order. Order is a product of our environment and upbringing, and what I, Jessica Scott, Freya Cumbria, might consider to be orderly might be disorderly to another. Take, for example, a good old-fashioned cuppa. We all have different methods. There's a lot of things to be considered here. Milk first, milk last, sugars, wait time for the tea bag. Some people don't even want milk at all. So what is the right way? What is the right order? We'll never agree. I would like to hope though that as a society we'd all agree that order keeps us sane, alive, and for the most part well. In terms of society, we will define order as a state of tranquility and the existence of systems and laws which we abide to, mostly, are for the greater good of our existence. As a human race, we coordinate, and we coordinate it. We make the rules. So without these rules, laws, what have you, we'd ultimately just go into a purge and obliterate the entire human race, really. Or something like that. And it would look like this, apparently. Boom. However, order predates human existence. It's not all about us. And to show that, we've got some classic dinosaurs. on the page. Welcome to Jurassic Park. All living organisms are controlled by unwritten laws, from a toadstool to a herdwick to the animals in the jungle. It's this innate sense of order on which they live, thrive, survive, and die. How else would they know of predators? How to hunt, make shelter? The list goes on. The dinosaurs weren't so lucky though. Nature itself is filled with order in a lot of ways. How a cockerel crows at dawn. How the rings of an old oak tree form to make perfect symmetrical patterns. Just like the scales on a fish, not one bigger than the other, not one out of place. Sadly, these phenomenons often go unnoticed, yet not by the likes of mathematicians or anyone who loves the Fibonacci sequence. I was never the biggest fan of maths at school, but I feel like if I'd been taught this, I would have been listening. Credit where credit is due, Leonardo Fibonacci. The Fibonacci numbers are nature's numbering system. They appear everywhere in nature, from the leaf arrangement in plants to the pattern of the florets on a flower, the bracts of a pine cone, or the scales of a pineapple. They are bloody everywhere. The next time you find yourself lurking around in some good old nature, pick up a pine cone and count those bracts for yourself. Order is not only whimsical, but also beautiful. From this sequence, we also find the golden ratio. This spiral, derived from the Fibonacci sequence, is almost like the trademark of a designer from a higher power. It can be found everywhere, from the Milky Way to the Mona Lisa. Order is everything we think, and subconsciously, pretty much everything we see. It is beyond living organisms. I'm not sure if what we see here is a living organism, but the golden ratio can be found in its hair. It comes as no surprise, with order being everywhere and all, that it can also be found in disorder. Some might call it chaos. Our natural bias is to have a predetermined process and outcome. When we deviate from this could indicate chaos. But sometimes this is when the best outcomes come to life, when you steer away from the planned method and just do. A situation that seems quite chaotic but results in desirable outcomes can be said to contain order, hence the term organised chaos. Organised chaos can be summarised as follows. 1. Settle for more by considering less. 2. Focus on outcomes rather than processes. 3. There is no universal order. And 4. There is order in disorder. It's safe to say this video has been nothing short of organised chaos, but I hope you found at least one takeaway. I've nearly set my house on fire.